What does Usman's KO mean to you?
It means exactly what he said after the fight. He's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world in MMA. Usman's the best pound-for-pound fighter. And apologies to Jon Jones. I'm not trying to compare their careers so far, although Usman is starting to make a case at welterweight. But Jon Jones, let's see, you got to dominate at heavyweight now, and there's a big dude at heavyweight. I don't know if you beat him, Ngannou. But Usman he's not lying when he said he lapped the welters. It's not just that he beat Covington and Burns and Masvidal and all these guys, and that he hasn't lost, and that he's dominant, and he's the best. Now that Khabib is retired, he's the best wrestler in the game. Guys, when you're standing up with a striker, a guy who's known for being elusive with upper body movement, for having creative strikes and everything, and Stephen A., here's what told me everything. He was landing, Usman, against a striker, standing up. Right hand leads in the middle of the ring. And you're a boxing fan from way back. You know what that means. If a dude can catch another dude with right hand leads in the middle of the ring, and in MMA, if the other dude doesn't want the game to go to the ground, right? He wants to stay standing up, but he's getting caught with straight right hand leads, it's just a matter of time. And I understand a part of what makes Usman's strikes more effective is that you have to guard against getting taken to the ground. There's a lot on your plate with Usman, but that's the point. There is a lot on your plate. Stephen A., don't let this dude start to really know submission holds, right? Like, don't let him start to be able to hyperextend limbs or choke out air, because now, given his stand-up game with the ground game, with the wrestling, he's almost impossible to beat at welterweight. That's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Now, I still think it's Jon Jones. But because the bottom line is, listen, I saw Colby Covington talking a lot of junk about Masvidal after the fight, and obviously he lost to Usman in 5 rounds. But that brother can fight, and I think that, and that's something that we'll get into later. Masvidal, when he talked about Masvidal and his record, had 14 losses coming into the fight. I got more respect for Masvidal than he does, but then again, I'm not a UFC fighter like he is, so you know what, his opinion is more qualified than mine. Plus, I'm not an expert like idiots out there try to accuse me of pretending that I'm being just because I'm commenting. No, I'm a fan. I'm not an expert on the UFC, okay?
Stephen A., can I say one thing about that real quick?
Go ahead.
But just so people know, Stephen A. has been a boxing fan, an MMA fan, from way back. When we used to do radio side by side, our shows were in New York. We used to see each other in the hallways all the time, and I just wanted to talk to him about basketball, and he just wanted to talk to me about the fight game from way back. Yeah.
But primarily boxing more so than the UFC. UFC is a recent thing over the last few years. I just got so much respect for them and what they bring to the world of sports, and I'm just a fan, but I'm no expert on the MMA. Having said all of that, I got 2 eyes. I got pretty good vision. And I know sports, and I know what I'm seeing. And when I look at Usman, for example, when you talk about his stand-up game, Max, I give him a lot of credit for it, even though I don't think it's an elite. I saw the way he was throwing punches a little bit wild, even though that knockout punch was a straight right. It wasn't a haymaker. It was a straight right he caught Masvidal with, which was absolutely devastating. What I would say to you, however, is this. Masvidal, pay attention to what he said after the fight, and he was class personified in a loss. What he said was, he showed me something I hadn't seen. My first fight with him, I didn't taste that power. I didn't know he had it. I thought that I knew he didn't have it. So as a result, I wasn't scared of his strike game. I was preparing to wrestle and grapple with him for 25 minutes because we thought that's what he was going to do. So that made it easier for Usman to catch him because Masvidal wasn't worried about his power initially because when they fought against one another in the first fight, he said he didn't taste it. He didn't feel it. So you know this, Max. Covering the fight game as extraordinarily well as you've done over the years. You know when a guy fought you and you've hit him, if he doesn't feel your power, then obviously he's going to take chances the second go round because he believes he already knows what you're bringing to the table. That's where Masvidal made the mistake. Usman clearly sharpened his game, had more to bring, and obviously brought it. Even after he caught Masvidal, Masvidal still wasn't knocked out until like the 3rd or 4th chop, if you go back and look at the tape. But the blow was definitely devastating. In the end, what it comes down to is this. Usman is the real deal. Make no mistake about it, I love his composure. I love how he responds under pressure. I love how he embraces challenges. I love how serious he takes the fight game. Look at his body, look at his conditioning. He cares about being the best. He's a champion that conducts himself like a champion. And so I got nothing but the greatest, profound respect for him. I interviewed him Thursday, got the greatest respect for him. But in the end, when I look at Jon Bones Jones, there's a level that I've seen Jon Bones Jones go to that it may not be Usman's fault. Maybe it's the level of competition. Maybe I need to see him against Covington again. Okay, maybe I need to see him, and we'll talk about this later, the Adesanyas of the world and others. Maybe I need to see that. But right now, I'm not going to give him the pound-for-pound edge over the great Jon Bones Jones.
And some people won't. And that's going basically on Jon Bones' resume. And when you lost last, someone said, yep, that's still Jon Jones.
And the multitude of ways we've seen him win as well.
And you can say that. That's legit. I'm talking about right now. I need to see it from Jon Bones Jones at the top of the heavyweight division where he's now campaigning. Usman, you bring up the fact that Masvidal said, hey, I already fought him, went the distance. I didn't know he had that power. That's scary. That means that Usman is growing as a fighter. Now imagine trying to fight him. Masvidal, you just said, I thought I was going to have to be grappling with him for 25 minutes. So now picture this. And I'm not trying to say Usman's unbeatable. No one's unbeatable, especially in MMA. Everyone's a de facto one-punch threat, so to speak, because you make one wrong move, you can get submitted, you get choked out, you get knocked out. Okay. So I'm not trying to say, and maybe Covington does better in the rematch. But I'll bet you the odds will be wider for the rematch because people can see it with their eyes. Usman is growing as a fighter. His skills, his repertoire is getting deeper. Imagine you're fighting him, Stephen A. He has a perfect takedown defense. You are not going to take him down, but he might take you down, right? So now you're prepared to grapple for 25 minutes. And by the way, good luck with that because he's the best wrestler in the business, certainly now that Khabib's not there, right? Or you would think. So you can't take him down. If you do get to the ground, he's better than you. So now you're standing up with him knowing it's basically up to him if he wants to take it to the ground. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.